So, if you have been following this particular build or any of the other videos, you might have got to see something that I thought was kind of cool. And I haven't got it heat treated yet. I'm going to go ahead and do a hot pick guard before I do my heat treat. Now what I got so far, I've got a forge heating up for one. I have an 80 CRV2 blade that has been rough ground. This blade is approximately 14¼ inches long, overall length of 20 inches. So it is a sizable knife. Kind of Yatagan kukri recurve, although I did get inspired while making it and go ahead and forge out a kukri blade out of 1080 high carbon. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to figure out what kind of guard I want to put on this. I've chosen this piece of gnarly weathered elk antler. And when I look at this, knife, the potential of this knife, I'm seeing more of a knuckle bow. I could do a short guard, but I don't feel that it's going to do it justice doing that short guard. So first things first, I've got a couple little accents in here I'm going to heat treat real quick. And then I'm going to take this piece of mild steel right here and forge a guard out of it. If you haven't subscribed yet, now is a great time to do so. And if you watch over here, I'm going to do a quench real quick on one of these little accents. That quick dip actually blows the scale off. There is one tiny axe head. And now I'm going to go ahead and get this set up over here. I need a stand. And now I'm going to go ahead and quench the other little accent real quick, and I'm going to let this, let that steel heat up. So, first things first, I got to figure out how I'm going to design this guard. And I'm thinking if I come up in the back, I want it to curl forward. This front part is probably more of a knuckle boat. Okay, so not completed at the bottom because one, when I look at my profile here, it's not going to be in a position to really get riveted down. It could be done by doing an extension or something like that. Not in a hurry to do that. So what I will be doing, I've got to drill that out. I've got to get everything set. But before I do all that fun stuff, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to get a guard bit to this really cool recurve blade. If you haven't subscribed yet, great time to do that. Now, if you're interested in knife making, if you're interested in Turtle Island, the Turtle Island Preserve from Mountain Men, Eustace Conway's from the History Channel. I encourage you to check out the links in the description because there is a link to the Turtle Island Preserve. And on September 6th and 7th, there's a class available that Robbie Bowman of Iron Mountain Metalcraft, a Forged in Fire fan favorite, seasons 3 and 4, episodes 5. Myself, Forged in Fire alumni, season 4, episode 2. And Cheyenne Brown, who is a Forged in Fire alumni, season 9, episode 5. All three of us will be teaching there. We just need you guys to sign up for the classes. Link in the description. Young Fong, thank you very much. So, I gotta get this quite a bit hotter. And I'll be going over to the power hammer. Now, one thing I need to do when I'm doing this guard, I need to get my calipers. I want to check approximately the width of the tang. Grab camera if you want.
Okay.
And this one will work. So I'll be using this punch. It won't take too long once I'm up to temp. My cameraman Pete is in the house, so is Yvonne, but she cannot appear on camera as she was subjected to stealth technology in the 90s while in the military. We've been telling people that about Jeff, and he's yet to show up on camera. So this is coming up to temp pretty quick. Like I said, I plan on doing a knuckle bow for this, so very similar to a D-guard, but more like a small sword. If you haven't subscribed yet, now's a great time to do so.
Young Bong said hi, badass blade.
How's it going? And thank you very much.
Lotus Rig says I miss doing this stuff by hand. It was fun.
It is fun.
Barbara said hi.
How's it going? Just some quick work, and I'm forging this on edge right there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to heat that up a little more. We're going to go back over to the power hammer, and we're going to go from there. But going from that edge, pretty simple. The idea is to take what's already corners and forge those out. So it works quite efficiently. Now,
Paige Cohen said hi from Arkansas. And Sonny Dixon said hello from Pennsylvania.
how's it going? So, that guard I'm actually going to quench in this water. Now, it doesn't look like real clean water, but it's clean enough for what it is. I've got super quench and I don't want to over harden it. Now, I can get a cool patina just by doing an oil quench, but I'm not going to get a lot of hardness out of it. So there's a possibility I might do an oil quench on this one at some point for the patina, but it's not real likely. probably pretty close to having enough material right there. But what I'm going to do, I'm going to hold off for just a moment. I'm also going to come over here to my tang and make sure that I don't have any high points. That's about my max right there for when I drive this on. So before I completely get into this, I'm going to draw that out just a little bit more. I'm going to draw out a point. Draw out a point on the end that's going to be the upward turn portion of the guard.
Cepha said, hey.
How's it going? All right, come back over here real quick. Material's a little bit easier to keep the heat in the piece. So I got that drawn out. That's going to be the portion kind of on the back of the blade in relation to positioning. So now I'm going to do just a little bit of hand forging on the anvil here. And at a low temp, I don't need a lot of heat. I just need to profile this a little bit. And that's all evened up. Rather nice. All right. Now I'm going for a higher heat, going to draw that out. That guard is probably 3/8 of an inch thick, which is overly thick for what I need. I'm going to try to bring that down a little closer to a 1/4 inch. Draw, and then it'll be time to cut and start drawing out. But I'm okay with that. So now we're going to go back into the forge. And hopefully on the next one, I'll go ahead, bring that out, do a hot cut, and see about starting to forge that out. Actually, I may use a grinder instead of a hot cut, to be totally honest. If you have not subscribed yet, now's a great time to do so. And check out links in the description for Iron Mountain Metalcraft, Forge Memory Family. Specifically, you need to check out the Turtle Island page. And there are classes available September 6th and 7th. You just got to go sign up. All the information is there. Here we go. blade has not been heat treated yet, and because of the massive amount of steel that I'm about to place on that particular piece, that's one reason I haven't done the heat treatment yet. Okay, we're getting up to temp. I'm going to make the initial mark for the guard. Actually, I'm going to let that get just a little bit hotter. What I'm going to do while it's coming up to heat, I'm going to get ready for this. Now, I've got my my rectangular punch, and what I'm going to do, I'm going to bring that in, and I'm going to mark that so that I've got a good indentation to start with. Right here, and judging it mostly by eye. And there you have it. Got a decent indentation in that piece. Now going into the forge, letting it get up to a high temp. Just turn that up. And now I can go ahead and bring my pre-heat treat blade blank over here. I was hoping to have these ready for auction tonight, or at least this one, but I don't think it's going to happen. But still a cool little kookery right there. Cool piece. It'll be quite light. Okay. So now I'm going to look for a larger hammer, which I have somewhere. I had Dave clean stuff up yesterday, so I can't. He did a good job. I can't find things.
Right about. None of those are good.
Black handled. It's a 4-pound black handled piece. It's probably right in front of me, and I can't see it with this whole joke. I'll just grab a different one. We use a 3.5-pound half rounder. Look, I use fractions. Alright, so I'm going to come in here on the indentation. And define it just a little bit. A lot of material to go through right there, down maybe 1/8 of an inch, but this will work. I'm going to get to that high heat, and next time, be hitting her hard.
Do you see a hammer over there?
It's hard to say where it migrated to. It may just be in the other room. The amazing thing when you have tools around, people have a tendency to be like, hey, I'm going to use this real quick. All right, here we go. Flip this over, and that looks like I should be punching through right about here. Looking good so far. And with the lower carbon steel working it back and forth like this, I get a result that I like. I just have to move it enough times to get it completely sheer. There it went. Oh, I thought it did. Oh, wait. It did. There's the slug right there. So, I believe what I'm going to do, I'm going to put this on the side with the blade since it's already got some recess and all. No, actually I'll do that side. Right there is that slug of steel. All right. Let me find drive that on there. I don't have to be as worried about it being too hot on the blade because I haven't heat treated the blade yet. So that's a start. Using as much heat as I did, you may actually be able to see a little bit of color starting to form here, or it may not have been on there long enough, but it definitely heated that tang up. Initially set, then I can go into forging the rest of it. Now when I do this, there's a couple things I want to see. If I can get it off of here before it cools too quickly. What I want to see an imprint right here, and that's what I have. Got an imprint for the front shoulder and the back shoulder. So now that I've got a rough bit on this particular piece of steel, and it really wasn't hot long enough on there to really throw any color, but maybe a little bit. Next, I'll be going over to the power hammer. I'm going to start drawing out that knuckle bow. Now I can start to get an idea about how that's going to come together. We need a little bit of steel to put that knuckle bow on there for sure. All right, going to the hammer. See how that's grown out quite a bit. So what I'm going to do on this knuckle bow is I'm just going to draw it out into kind of a long taper. If I want to put scrolling on the end, I can. There's no point in really drawing it down to a tight tip and then scrolling it. It might look neat, but this one I want to do a little flatter, just a little more utilitarian. Make it look homespun, homegrown American, you know? All right, quick straightening here. Then to the power hammer. And I just kind of keep gauging it here about where I want this to end up. And I think I'm pretty close. I'm going to draw that out just a little bit more. Then I'm going to start fitting that up. Now it will probably take some adjustment, and some of that may be done off camera. Back to the hammer. Now you can see how it's got that nice distal taper to it. First thing I'm going to do, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to curve my the back of my guard up. Put a little quilly in there. Get some scrolling tones ready. Find the other tones I was looking for. going to turn this around and do a little bit of scroll on the end, and then bend the knuckle bow into position. Which I might grab a switch block to do. But yeah, I'll probably put just a slight scroll on the end. Have it curve up a little bit. Semi-open scroll on that, I kind of like it. So now I'll go ahead and get the switch block ready. Not the best location for it, but it's going to work. Just need something that I've got an even, you know, basically I can dish that or curve that evenly. Cool off my scroll. Okay, that's a start. Back into the forge. It's not going to be a full D-guard like where it would be riveted over the pommel or the tang at the end, but it's going to be a cool piece when I'm done. I know, because I'm making it. If you haven't subscribed yet, great chance to do that, and check out descriptions in the comments. Links in the description. I'm getting warm here, Dee.
It is warm today.
It is warm today. That might work. The question is, will that... I think it's going to be awful close. Might need to straighten it just a little bit. Heat it up one more time, and then I'm going to drive it on. Once more, if you are interested student knife making classes September 6th and 7th at the Turtle Island Preserve. Eustace Conway's from Mountain Men on the History Channel. They will be having a knife making class. 3 Forged in Fire alumni, Robbie Bowman, myself, and Cheyenne Brown. Link in the description. Check it out. Where I kind of do my dry run on it, and you can see that's curved to the side slightly, so. Much better. Checking on the spine, that's got to come over just a little bit. This off, we can go ahead and kill the fire. But I think I've got a D-guard here of sorts. Now the problem with doing this actually causes it to contract. As it's cooling, it's contracting, and that causes some issues with me getting this back off. But I can do it. I think that'll work. Now, for those of you worried about it overheating the blade, this blade is not heat treated, but you can also see that it hasn't had the opportunity to really transfer that heat to the blade because it hasn't changed color any. But I'm looking forward to getting this cleaned up. We'll get this cleaned up. Got to drill the handle, get everything going. I'm ready to get that cleaned up and heat treated. We might do a video on that, or it may be off camera. But as it goes, continuation of the build of the Turtle Island Bowie. Do you need a Bowie that big? No, but they do have bears down there, so I'm thinking it's a good thing to have. Can I parry a saber with that? If I had to, I think I could. I think that's going to be a cool piece once it's done. Guys, be sure to like and subscribe. Check out the links in the description. Be sure to check out Turtle Island, Iron Mountain Metalcraft, Purgatory Ironworks. Catch you later.